But the big question, is that enough, that FDA approval, to persuade Las Vegans who are still hesitant? News 3's Lauren Clark joins us in studio with what those on the vaccination front line say they're witnessing.
Yeah, well, they tell me it's a little early to see all the numbers come into fruition, but in the past 2 days, they have noticed an increase of people wanting the Pfizer shot, and they hope it only continues in the days to come. A point of hesitation.
It's kind of too early.
4 months now.
Why it's not FDA approved yet?
The 3 COVID vaccines only emergency authorized by the FDA, but that changed Monday.
The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is safe and effective, and the FDA has given its full and final approval.
When the FDA gave Pfizer its stamp of full approval for everyone 16 and up. So in the days since, has there been an uptick in vaccinations? Well, community organizers say
we've certainly noticed an uptick in the number of people that are being vaccinated.
That's Guy Girardin, president of nonprofit health outreach group Puentes. He says just yesterday.
And we vaccinated 105 or 106 people.
A number he hadn't seen in a while. And at Mater Academy off Mountain Vista, volunteers are filling up syringes of Pfizer to shoot into even more arms.
It is progressing and motivating people to get the vaccine even more.
Natasha Carney with Immunize Nevada sees the impact the FDA's move is making.
We had a gentleman come in and he said right off the bat, I've been waiting for this FDA approval. It's come. I'm here. Let's get this done.
And Michelle, with her fresh post-shot Band-Aid, agrees.
It made me feel better.
Still,
Just don't care.
some unvaccinated people like David or Brian
Not really. I think it was pretty rushed for them to get the approval.
remain unpersuaded.
For me, it doesn't really change my mind at all.
But even with some minds made up, the White House hopes Pfizer's full FDA approval will motivate more people to roll up their sleeves. And Guy says every number counts.
It's about human lives, and if it's one, that's great.
So take a look at this. It's a poll on our News 3 Twitter page asking if the FDA's full approval has changed your mind to get the vaccination. Well, around 20% of you says it has. The rest have said no.
As the superintendent told us last night, he wants to bring that for discussion with the Board of Trustees now that the Pfizer vaccine has had the full approval of the FDA. So how do teachers feel about what he had to say? Our Jeff Gillen talked to the head of the Teachers Union, because that's what the superintendent said he would be looking at. And what did he have to say?
Yeah, the union said some interesting things today. I'll bring that to you right now. Good evening, everybody. The union did mention or talk about the whole potential vaccine mandate. But first, I'd like to show you this. The district introduced us to the latest weapon in its virus-fighting arsenal. At Kesterson Elementary, meet the school district's heavy COVID-fighting artillery. The district is putting one of these light-emitting machines on every campus. It kills COVID at the touch of a button. Grant Morgan is with the company that made it.
It's UVC light, which is light at a specific wavelength, and it has enough energy to inactivate any kind of virus, bacteria, mold, and fungi.
$20,000 each, paid for with COVID relief money. One will be on every campus by Friday. This is one way the district is keeping staff and the kids who learn in our schools as COVID safe as possible. Here's possibly another way: vaccines. In our interview yesterday, now that the Pfizer vaccine has been officially approved, I asked Superintendent Jesus Jara if it's time to mandate vaccines for the district. Are you thinking of doing that?
It's a conversation I need to have with the board of trustees. We need to have, that discussion of where we're going to be. So this is a conversation we need to have, to make sure that our kids are safe and our teachers are safe as well.
The district told me today Jara was talking about vaccine mandates for staff, something other school districts like New York City are now doing.
The first thing I should say is it should be the highest priority for that superintendent and those trustees to discuss now, not tomorrow, but now.
John Vallardita heads up the Teachers Union. He tells me about 40% of his members are vaccinated. And now that Pfizer has been officially approved, he expects that number to head higher. If vaccines become required for employment, except for legitimate medical or religious exemptions,
if it becomes a mandate and it's legally defensible, we're not going to stand in the way of that.
The superintendent told me Tuesday about 25,000 of the district's 40,000 workers have been vaccinated. The district already mandates masks for students and staff. And come Friday, it flips the switch on this. And the union also tells me it is working with the health district to offer 4 pop-up vaccine clinics on Monday at Desert Pines, Cheyenne, Sierra Vista, and Centennial High Schools. Those are areas the numbers show more people need to get vaccinated. The clinics are open to anybody.
Average cost of a COVID-related hospital stay was about $20,000 in June and July.
That's nothing, though, compared to a hospital bill a Green Valley man got after his COVID stay finally ended. Our Steve Wolford is in the newsroom with his story.
Oh, yeah, you can say that again. Kenji Kati is a professional photographer and videographer. He says he spent 7 weeks in the hospital last summer, 6 of them in intensive care because of COVID-19. Well, today he showed us his hospital bill that nearly topped $1 million.
If I didn't have insurance, I really would have thought of signing the do not resuscitate because I don't know how I would have paid the bill.
Kenji Kita, looking back on his 7-week hospital stay after contracting COVID-19 on June 7th of last year.
By June 11th, I could barely breathe. And by June 20th, so 9 days later, they had no choice but to put me on the ventilator and induce me into a coma. And then from there, I was in a coma for 6 weeks. My heart stopped twice while in that coma.
But not only did Kenji survive COVID, he also survived certain financial ruin.
The bill that I saw was $916,000 and change.
$916,000, not counting his $14,000 deductible, which went toward in-home rehab, along with renting a hospital bed and a walker. Brian Clevin, Chief Financial Officer for Dignity Health St. Rose Hospital, says what happened to Kenji is consistent with COVID patients who need higher levels of care.
And it's very costly depending on the severity of the illness. If the patient is requiring intensive care or ventilator usage, those patients are requiring pharmaceuticals that are very expensive, such as remdesivir, many of those that you've heard, along with also the life-saving treatment that we're providing.
Fortunately for Kenji, even though he wasn't working last summer when he got sick, he made a move that saved his financial life. He kept paying his $120 insurance premium.
I still paid it. I was like, even though I'm unemployed, I had to pay it. And then I got sick, so I was lucky to have continued paying that.
Well, Kita says that he realizes there is a huge divide right now between vaccinated and unvaccinated. So instead of offering any advice on the shot, he says only this: get insurance. It's what it's there for. Those were his words. And in his particular case, it probably saved him close to $1 million.
Hi, everybody. I'm Reed Cowan from News 3 Las Vegas. We want to thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Remember, you can always see more of our videos by clicking on the video links. And also don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our YouTube updates. Thanks for watching.